Hey everyone, welcome to the Shake Me Awake podcast with Jen. It's taken me 40 years to finally wake up to my true potential, my authenticity, my purpose, and my passion in life. I can't go back to sleep, and I want you to wake up with me. Every week we'll be talking about the journey of opening your eyes to the life you were meant to lead, how to show up as the real you in this one life we've been given, how to live more authentically, and how to find your true purpose instead of sleepwalking through life like so many of us are doing. I want you to wake up every day filled with purpose and passion and show up as the true you, because otherwise, life is exhausting. I am committed to living each day authentically and with true purpose, and I want you to join me. Follow this podcast and visit my website at shakemeawake.com. Be part of a community of people who are done sleeping through life. Hey everyone, I have a really amazing guest today who has such a beautiful energy. Her name is Michele Johnston, and her coaching is called Fiercely Authentic Coaching, which is exactly what I'm looking for in my life right now. This episode was perfect for me because I had an amazing weekend spending some time with some incredible women that I'm in a conscious connection circle with. I'll put some information about what that is in the show notes. And we had a retreat this weekend where we basically just held space for each other to show up fully authentic, to express our dreams and our desires and all the things we're working on to level up and get a little bit closer to the future versions of ourselves. This conversation with Michele really capped the weekend off with a finale of talking about really showing up authentically and not being so afraid to be yourself. Michele is a slayer of limiting beliefs in pursuit of living her best life. She was raised with a strict religious ideology of what a woman should be. She married young and became a devoted mother of four, and for years she masked her struggles to fit society's perfect mold. Oh my God, does that sound familiar? As her kids got older, she prioritized self-care. Pushing a truck full of kettlebells was her aha moment, revealing her incredible strength physically and mentally. Michele dove into fitness and embarked on a journey of self-discovery, self-love, adventure, and grace. Now, as a motivational speaker and empowerment coach, she inspires fierce women like me to rediscover their authentic selves, fall in love with their quirks, and live life unapologetically. I admit I cut an entire intro out where we talked about how we really wish we would have just shown up in our bathrobes, but instead we showed up looking professional. But that doesn't make the rest of our conversation any less authentic. Please listen to Michele and I talk about how to show up fully authentic, even if you're not showing up in your bathrobe, the way that impacts what and who you attract in your life, and then we end with why we're not meant to go through this alone. I hope you love it.
I'm a motivational speaker. I speak about smashing through societal expectations, embracing our imperfections, and living a life of self love and authenticity. So, why is it so fucking hard for me? I don't know.
Because you don't get excused from the human experience.
It's bingo. So I'm a motivational speaker, and then I'm also an empowerment coach. And I work specifically with women who are entering their rediscovery phase of life, had their oh shit moment. What do I do now? And helping them navigate through that, getting curious about life, releasing old selves, limiting beliefs, and really stepping into that midlife awakening that is so freaking awesome.
Oh my God. I talk to so many women who are right there on the game board of life. We are right
Yeah.
there. And I saw on your sheet midlife awakening because I was on a podcast with a friend of mine and I was like, I don't want to call it a midlife crisis. I want to call it a half-life awakening. And
Yes.
that just, yeah. So I think what that speaks to is there's so many of us in that part of our lives where we're like, what the hell have I been doing with my life for 40
Mhm.
years?
Mhm.
45 for me. And we wake up and go, no, that's not cutting it. I'm not living like that anymore.
Yeah. No, we totally have our oh shit moment. And whether it's like in my case, I lost myself in motherhood and playing that role of mom and wife. But like professional women have it too, where they've been so focused on career and then they hit that midlife and they're like, well, damn, I wanted to be married and have kids. And, we all like at some phase in our life are going to have that oh shit moment and where we're going to have to decide to whether to just stay complacent and be happy with where we're at or make that, pivot, have that plot twist in life and, journey into a whole different purpose.
Yeah. Plot twist, like making
Yeah.
your life look like what you want it to look like.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
damn it, why did it take me till 45 to decide that that's how I was going to design my life? And for
Yeah.
me, and for some women, this applies, and for some women, it doesn't or resonates. I found myself through divorce. I found myself through a breaking of
Hmm.
something, right? Breaking open.
Yeah.
And then I have been excavating myself out of,
Hmm.
this tomb that I was in.
Yeah.
Not to say my whole marriage was a tomb, but you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I had concreted myself into this person, into this symbol and statue of this is Jen. This is who I am. And I worked a government job for 25 years and that's who I showed up as. It's this person that I had created. And then once I started chipping away at that facade, which part of that was a divorce, because when you go through a divorce, it breaks away the foundation of what everybody thought was your life,
Yeah.
right? And it's a
Yeah.
very public breaking away, a very public
Yeah.
chipping and excavating of, okay, that's not at all who Jen is. She's this other person, and I was learning and discovering who that was. And I'm finally at a point in my life where I am sick and tired of not showing up as who I truly want to show up as in my
Mhm.
life. It's my life
It's so
to be who I want to
frustrating.
be.
It's so frustrating.
Yeah. So why
No,
are we
yeah.
so afraid to just embrace our own
God.
authenticity and what we want out of life?
I was talking with a girlfriend about this too, and she's like, Michelle, if you think about it, it's generations, it's beyond generations, like centuries
Mm.
old, like female trauma and female stifling. And she's like, we were literally burned at the stake for being different, for stepping into our power and being authentic. And that was not very long ago. So she's like, we have trauma that goes ages and ages and ages. And we're now in this place. And I mean, it's so fucking amazing. Like just in the last 5, 10 years that I've watched it as I've been on my journey, how all of a sudden there's platforms that women can speak in and women are finally finding their voice and speaking about taboo things and sharing their experiences so that others don't have to suffer and others don't have to be alone. And it's truly an amazing period of time to watch women stepping into their power for the first time in like ever. It's really amazing.
That was such a beautiful answer and perspective because you're so right. And I have loved watching as I step out into it, all the women that are there. And I have met
Mhm.
the most amazing, beautiful, energetic, just full of life women through coming out and saying, hey, I'm on this journey. Will you join me? Will you come talk
Mhm.
with me? And the women I'm meeting are smart and hilarious and beautiful and gifted and these incredible intuitive connections have happened with all
Mhm.
the women that I've had on my podcast. It just amazes me how capable we are, how full we are of life and energy and purpose and drive and ambition and
Mhm.
power and love and just all the good things that we all bring when we get into a room or a virtual room and start talking about it. I feel
Yeah.
like we have the power to change the world.
Yeah. Absolutely, we do. We just have to keep on talking and keep connecting and lifting each other up. You know, I kind of feel I see this shift in, you know, the whole mean girl bit. Like I feel a lot of like that's kind of gone to the wayside. Like women have moved past like berating other women and stifling and pushing them down and making fun of them because they're not following the norm. Now it's being celebrated and women are being empowered and lifted up for forging their own path in life now. And it's we absolutely can change the world. Just have to keep elevating our lives, our voices, and supporting each other.
Yeah, absolutely. I've heard one of my kind of mentors say, like, when I raise my vibration and I help raise your vibration, like we're just all helping raise each other higher and higher, and it just
Hmm.
raises the whole world. And there's room
Hmm.
for all of us. We
Yeah.
all have something so unique about us, even if
Hmm.
we're doing the exact same type of business.
Yeah.
Um, we've all got something unique to bring to it. So,
Hmm.
yeah, there's room for all of us. I love that. What are some secrets that you can share for showing up authentically, even when you're afraid? Because we're all afraid of it, no matter what. Even if we're coaches of it, we're still afraid of it.
Hmm.
What are some tips?
So music is my hype. And it's always music has always been a super great form of therapy and processing emotions and tapping into whatever it is I intuitively need to tap into. I like to take some meditative time. It just even if it's just grounding and some deep breaths. And for me personally, especially when I'm showing up on social media, have an appointment with clients, getting on connecting with others, is I'd like to go through a process where I'm just the visualization process and I'm just kind of receiving downloads, like a light is coming down. What do I need to say? How do I need to connect? What does someone out there need to hear? And that's how I approach podcasts too. I'm like, I just go with the flow because wherever the conversation leads, someone out there needs to hear it. So I'm very unstructured, but showing up authentically, I hype myself up with music a lot of the times, and I do things like I'll spritz on like my special occasion perfume, and I'll put on the lip gloss, and I'll be like, I will literally embody and step into the woman I want to become, or am becoming, or want to show up as who my true self is. Um, so that's really how I hype myself up. I turn on a podcast, I turn on my music, and I do the things, and then boom, the camera is on, or I'm in that social space. And it's amazing what you were talking about with the energy and attracting people, and in some case repelling other people, that don't belong or aren't serving a purpose. But that energy, when you step into your authenticity and you show up in that power, it changes the room, and you attract the people that need to come into your life. And it's my husband and I talk about it time and time again, like, so was it just me, or did we just like walk into that room and then all of a sudden everyone like came over and was starting to talk to us? And it's just that vibration. You walk in with that high vibe, you're going to attract the people.
I love that you shared that about you and your husband. I have a partner. We have similar we have a really great relationship where we can talk about those kind of things too. And we bring that kind of energy
Hmm.
because we're those kind of people where we're like, you know what? We're going to show up as who we are, who we want to show up as. I like how you
Hmm.
said that too. Like, there's who you are. And then there's always for me, like one step.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be a little bit
Yeah.
elevated into who I want to be in the next level. Like there's always an up
Hmm.
level for me.
Yeah.
And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with
Yeah.
that. I like to say authenticity isn't a finish line,
Absolutely. Yeah.
not a finish line to it. So he and I talk about that where we're like, when we're really dialed in to who we are and what we want out of life and the goodness we want to bring, to people and to ourselves, to our own life, we feel like, gosh, didn't that feel great? We met so many great people. We encountered people that were on our same wavelength, and we
Hmm.
kind of avoid the people that we know in our circles that aren't really the people we want to
Hmm.
vibe with. They're not our tribe, and
Yeah.
more that I step into that energy and open myself up to, here's what I'm doing in the world. Who wants to join me? It's like the universe shines spotlights on all the people that are doing that same thing and want those same things out of life.
Hmm. No, totally. We just had an experience where we came out of it. We were part of a Star Wars fan film project, and we spent a whole day. Yeah, there's multiple layers. We came out of we came out of filming, and we're like, holy shit. It was like a total holy shit day. We made like a friend that had like the same kind of like relationship, like line as us. And then we just like, I mean, we just made these connections where we're like, if we had not been there for that day and that time and on that, I like it, life-changing connections were made. And it was just like, holy crap. Like,
Right,
wow. But
right.
it is like the universe. When you step into that, the universe is just like, yes,
Yeah,
let's go for it. Here we go.
exactly. It cheers you on. So, having these conversations about authenticity and what you
Mhm,
just brought to my mind is, don't try to be someone you're not, because then you're going to
mhm.
attract what you're not. If you
Exactly.
show up as who you are in all of your Star Wars loving glory, or all of your, for me, Barbie and Harry Potter
Mhm.
glory that I love. I'm a girl and I freaking love pink. It's my favorite color, and whatever it is for you, just show up with that. And
Yeah.
those are the people you want to be around anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. Your tribe.
Exactly. So, why do you think we are all so afraid of showing
Mhm.
up authentically?
Um, I think it's like simply put, it's a judgment, fear of judgment from others. And I like that stems from childhood, right? Fear of being bullied, fear of, not saying the right thing, being wrong, being shunned by others. So I think that carries us through, stays with us through our lifetime. It's that fear of judgment that really holds us back. And, it's just kind of like that little evil guy on your shoulder. And sometimes, he gets in your head, and other times you're able to stop him in his tracks and, move forward with it and, you know, be able to have those moments. But we all have that fear. And I don't think that's something that we ever really 100% release.
Yeah, I really liked when you said at the beginning, like, you even struggle with that. And
Hmm.
that's the point, is we're all human. And Amy Porterfield talks about only being 10% ahead of the person that you're teaching or coaching or whatever,
Hmm.
because I don't have to be perfect. There is no perfect.
Hmm.
That's a made up
Yeah.
construct. Um, so, and I don't even, nobody wants to be around somebody that thinks they're perfect, right? That's
Yeah.
icky.
Yeah.
So, my favorite people are the ones who show up real and,
Yeah.
have spinach in their teeth or whatever and can laugh about it. Big
Yeah.
deal.
Yeah.
So yeah. So what does giving grace to yourself look like in those moments where either you haven't shown up how you wanted to, or you're really struggling with some fear or block?
Hmm. Well, a big part of my self-discovery journey was this process of, having that, you know, aha moment, that awareness, kind of getting pissed off about it because I'd been trying to live this life as a person that wasn't me for over half my life. And then I moved into this place of forgiveness, and not necessarily like forgiveness for the mentors and the stuff that had kind of placed these expectations and these limiting beliefs in my head, but more so for myself, for the younger Michelle that was only working with what she knew to work with, how she knew how to live, what she had been taught. And once I was able to release that, then I moved into this period of grace, moving forward. Like it was a new chapter. It was my plot twist. I was moving into this new phase of life. Who is Michelle really at her core? And I had to strip it down. So I knew that, okay, there's going to be some ups and downs. Like essentially, I was re entering life as a toddler in an adult's body.
Mm,
And I was going to be learning a lot of new things about myself, that I was going to be uncovering a lot of inner child trauma. There was a lot of healing that was going to take place. And it wasn't going to be an overnight success story, from, grieving and releasing a previous life and entering into a new one. So I knew I had to give myself some grace in that I would needed to give myself patience. I needed to really find habits, daily habits that would give myself self-love, like finding habits, self-love habits and self-care habits. And I needed to implement that on a daily basis. So I really needed to set that foundation of loving on myself in order to be able to be patient with myself. Um, have that awareness that everything's not going to be rainbows and butterflies. I'm going to have wins, I'm going to have falls, and that's all part of the process, all part of growing. So really, grace to me is a lot of self-love and a lot of patience.
what's so interesting about the words you said are they match the energy that I was witnessing and feeling as you spoke about that
Mm,
journey. It's like this glow came over you, and it got real slow and real deep and real calm and real loving. And I felt loving, patient energy come from you when you just spoke about that. So
mm,
that's clear to me how deep that is running through you now.
mhm,
And what that says to me, it makes me feel so like warm and tingly and comfortable in your presence and talking to you about, if you're doing coaching with someone and they're
mhm,
going through something like that, I just felt that energy from you that now it gives me the permission to turn it onto myself.
mhm. Yeah.
That was beautiful.
Thank you. Wow. That means a lot that you said that, because it is so important to me, and really strive to hold that safe and judgment-free space for any woman that drops into my DMs or that I'm coaching. It's um we're not meant to travel this journey alone, and that's hugely important to me.
Well, oh, what a great way to sign off. That was absolutely so much fun. We got to see the beautiful, fun, funny, quirky side of you. And then we got to see that beautiful, safe, loving energy from you.
Mm,
You are a very, I can tell, deep person. And there's just so much beauty in there. I love it. So, how can I stay connected with you? How can other people
mhm.
find you and connect with you?
The best way to connect with me is on Instagram. My handle is fiercely authentic coaching. And then if you'd like to connect with me in regards to speaking to your group or an event, my website is michellejohnstonspeaks.com.
Awesome. Well, I will have all that spelled out in the notes so that everybody can find you. And I have loved connecting with you today.
Likewise, thank you so much for having me.
Yes, and we'll do the next one in our robes. Awesome. I hope you have a great day.
Oh, thank you. You too. I am so happy to have connected with you. So
Me
thank you so
too.
much.
Oh, same to you. Thank you so much, Michelle.
All righty. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey everyone, I just want to thank you so much for joining me on this podcast. Make sure to follow or subscribe on your favorite podcast platform so you get notified of new episodes. Also, follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and sign up for my newsletter at shakemeawake.com. I hope you'll tune in again.